tonight's Chevy Monte Carlo 400, Jeff Gordon on the pole at Richmond for the 4th time with Rusty Wallace, a 6-time winner here alongside. Row 2, it's Sterling Marlin equaling his best ever Richmond start, and Jeff Burton, the 98 winner of this race. Row 3, Ward Burton and Bobby Labonte. Ward, last week's winner, one of the $1 million eligible drivers. Labonte is 2. They'll come from row 3. It's Casey Atwood and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in row 4. Earnhardt Jr. won last season here in the spring race.
Inside of row 5, Ricky Rudd from nearby Chesapeake. Ron Hornaday from California on the outside. Inside of row 6, Joe Nemechek from down in Florida. Todd Bodine from New York on the outside. In row 7, Stacy Compton, another Virginia boy, and Dave Blaney. In row 8, Ricky Craven and Dale Jarrett. In row 9, the 36 car Kenny Schrader and Jeff Green, the fastest car in happy hour. Row 10, Mark Martin on the inside, John Andretti on the outside.
Couple of Richard Childress Racing entries in row 11, Mike Skinner and Kevin Harvick. Harvick finished 17th here in May in his first Winston Cup try. Row 12, Bobby Hamilton and Robert Presley. Remember Presley with that hard crash last week. He says he's good to go tonight. Row 13, Jimmy Spencer and Terry Labonte. Spencer won the Busch race last night. Labonte, a 3-time Winston Cup winner here. Johnny Benson and Kenny Wallace go in row 14. Wallace subbing for Steve Park, who's out for at least the next 4 to 6 weeks with injury. Mike Wallace and Jeremy Mayfield in row 15. 16th row, Buckshot Jones and Elliott Sadler. Elliott quick and happy hour. He's one of the $1 million eligible drivers. Tony Stewart going to be in row 17. A lot of folks think he's going to be at the front by the time we get to the lap 100 mark.
Brett Bodine on the inside of 18. Kyle Petty on the outside of that row. 19, Bill Elliott and Matt Kenseth. Elliott almost crashed in qualifying. Puts him back in provisional land. In row 20 on the inside, Jerry Nadeau. Kurt Busch on the outside, who did crash in practice. In row 21 on the inside, Michael Waltrip, Jason Leffler. And the backup car on the outside, and starting 43rd will be Kevin LePage.
Drivers who failed to qualify for tonight's race. Hermie Sadler had a local Richmond-based sponsor, the Virginia State Lottery it was, in fact. Big pressure on him, wasn't able to get it in the show. Andy Houston, Hutch Strickland driving for 100,000 on their feet at Richmond, and we're racing in the Chevy Monte Carlo 400. Jeff Gordon leads lap 1. Here's Sterling Marlin challenging Rusty Wallace for 2nd.
And to no one's surprise, that low groove is working the best right now. We will see this groove, the fastest point of the racetrack, move up in the corners as the night progresses.
Marlin 2nd, Wallace 3rd, Jeff Burton 4th, Ward Burton 5th. Casey Atwood takes 6th from Bobby Labonte, and we reach lap 3.
Man, Jeff Gordon is loving this as these guys battle for position. He's just driving away from him.
Behind Wallace and Marlin, the Burton brothers have exchanged a spot. Ward has gotten by Jeff to take 4th. Jeff is 5th. Casey Atwood and Ron Hornaday racing for 6th, but still 2nd place is the hot spot.
They keep trading the inside and outside. One lap, Rusty's on the bottom. The next lap, he's on the outside groove.
And I'm surprised, you know, we saw the Busch race start out like this, but then the high line got really good, and I'm surprised it's taken this long for the Cup race as well.
John Andretti's got a problem up in turn 4. He's off the pace.
I think the left front tire is flat on that car.
Sure looks like it.
Andretti falling back. Couldn't get to pit road first time by. It happened too quickly.
And we saw some of that last night in the Busch race as well. Left front is definitely down.
Uh-oh, if that tire ends up in the groove someplace, and it did.
Now the question is if he had contact with somebody to cut that tire down.
Let's find out.
Jimmy Spencer on the inside and John Andretti, and
there it is right there. Well, I don't know. It may have went down at that time. Car looks clean.
Spencer was clearly up inside of him, though, going into the corner and had position. So under caution.
Now I think it's coming in. I think they've got a better handle on it. You'll see some pit stops.
Well, we're going. Wow.
Got some raw fuel in that pipe there.
Yes, it does. If it'll start, all that flame will go away. Finally, it did start. But one thing, it had to start, is going to burn up.
Yeah. Catch the grass on fire or something there. All right, let's see. Lead cars, just Jeff Burton is coming in. Jeff in 6th position.
I think you'll see a lot of cars towards the back come in.
Next one back is going to be Joe Nemechek in 19th, Mark Martin in 20th, and a lot of the cars from them on back. So of the top 20, only one coming into pit. Marty?
Yeah, Jeff Burton, and he was just complaining that the car was tight. They're obviously going to give up a lot of track position here, but they think they are much better on the longer runs, and they think that's going to be the key tonight. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Tony Stewart said he needed a little help in the center of the corner, so they made a track bar adjustment. They also went down 1 pound on each rear tire. Stewart's out of here.
Dale Jarrett in.
Good.
So 19 of the top 20 stay on the track. Only 6th place Jeff Burton comes in, and then those in the back half of the field. Different tire.
All right, Rusty, look in your rear view mirror. Your biggest nightmare is there. Ron Hornaday.
I'm not sure Rusty's going to make it that easy for him as maybe the 24 did.
As a matter of fact, Jeff Gordon about to lose another spot to Sterling Marlin, a 40 car.
Farthest forward any of the drivers who pitted under the car.
Oh,
contact. Gordon's in the wall. The championship leader in the wall early at Richmond.
Back corner. Right rear corner. Left rear corner.
What a big moment that is.
Wow. Boy.
Lap 35 at Richmond. The point leaders in the wall. Racing for 3rd with Sterling Marlin.
Like garage road. Down here, we'll come to that opening. It was Jeff on the last opening there.
Heavy damage. Look at that.
Plenty of room. Okay, guys, just remember our drills. Let's get it fixed and get all we can out of this thing.
You hear Jeff said that I gave him plenty of room. He was referring to giving Sterling a lot of room when he went down in the corner.
So let's stay here with all the safety equipment and find out. We might need to move first.
Let's go take a look at what happened.
That's a 40 car. Sterling Marlin, they go in the corner. And right there, just as they enter the corner.
We talked about it last night. It doesn't take much. You're in turn all the time here. If you just touch somebody, he's going around.
Yeah, Marlin. The relationship between Marlin's left side tires and that yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack is what you judge by.
Right.
Sterling's up off the bottom.
There was a lot of room down at the bottom of the racetrack for sure. And I'll tell you another thing happens. Not saying it happened this time. Just watch here. When you're racing a guy getting down in these corners, you drive in a little bit harder than you normally would. And when you get in there and you get hard on the brakes, the car will push up the racetrack a little.
He's looking on the inside of Rusty Wallace. He's looking there.
Trying again, down low. He's determined to get out front.
Rusty Wallace took his line away from him. Rusty Wallace moved up on the racetrack exactly the same spot that Hornaday has been running.
Here's Ricky Rudd trying to get another spot. This is fourth place he's bidden on from Ward Burton, and Dale Jr. trying to follow him through. Dale Jr. started in 8th. Jr. up to 6th now, around Casey Atwood. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Well, Jeff Gordon is surveying the damage. Jeff, something you normally see at the end of a short
garage, and that they can make up a lot of ground tonight.
That is right. They're on that accelerator just a little bit harder. Kenny Schrader on the outside, the 36 car. Schrader started back in 17th, is up to the 8th position. Last 3 or 4 races, Schrader has been a dominant car.
I talked with New Moore's crew chief this morning, and he said they found something in their shock package that Kenny really likes. He thought they'd run well tonight. Talking about Ricky Rudd and championship, we talked with Ricky earlier this weekend about what he and the 28 have to do to get back in the fight for this title.
Let the car drift up right there. And when the 22 car is there, that's when you lose a little bit of track position. Now the 28 will gain a little bit getting into the corner here. But it's getting off the corner. When you got to pinch the car down, it makes it tough to make that pass.
Dave Burns.
And Alan, earlier they were talking on the radio, the 28 guys were about running the high line that the 14 car, Ron Hornaday, was running and ran last night in the Busch Series race when he finished 11th. And so it appears that now if Ricky can make the pass, which he did, that he can get back up in that high line and run where he was quicker.
Looking down on Richmond International Raceway from the U.S. Army Skycam. United States Army, the Army of one.
Now, just a second ago when we had that shot, the 22 car Ward Burton actually pointed out the window to Dale Jr. that, hey, if you're going to get me, I want you to go down low.
As we watch this battle for the 4th position, Rusty Wallace has pulled away from Hornaday by about a second.
So the lead is settled down. Wallace, Hornaday, and Marlin. Then we go back to this race for 4th on down. He did. He obliged. Ward told him to go low. It's one of the great things about this track. The 2 lanes are equally as fast. You can race side by side all night long.
But the problem is being down low, if you're down there lap after lap, you're actually abusing your tires more than the guy on the outside. You heat the tires up more because you're pinching the car down. So you're putting more heat in the right front tire.
Well, Ward defends for now. Hangs on to the 5th position over Dale Earnhardt Jr., but it's Russ.
2 car, Sterling Marlin of 40 has taken the 2nd spot away from Ron Hornaday.
Interval 1.38 seconds from Wallace back to Marlin. And Hornaday has fallen another second farther behind them. As you look down on the gap, there it is. There's Hornaday. Rusty Wallace, the unquestioned master of this Richmond track since it was rebuilt in its 3/4 mile form. He has just been outstanding and dominating here. He leads every statistical category at this racetrack since it was done in the 3/4 mile layover. Most wins, most top 5s, most top 10s, most races led, most laps led. Do you know, Benny, that since they redid this racetrack in its current form, Rusty Wallace has led 24% of every lap raced here?
24% of all the laps that have been run.
Since the track was made into this shape.
He's definitely the dominant car. We see Rusty Wallace pulling away from Sterling Marlin, about a 1.5 seconds in front now.
Kevin Harvick, Ken Schrader, Bobby Labonte. This is for 10th, 11th, and 12th. Continuing to work on the 11th position, Dave Burns.
Yeah, he's moving back just a little bit, Alan. I checked with his pit, and they said he was okay, and right about that time, he radioed in and said that he was a little tight, and so they're going to try to make some changes when they pit the first time.
All right, so that's the update on Ken Schrader. I started to talk a minute ago about the conversation I had with his crew chief, Newt Moore, earlier today down in the garage. He said a couple of weeks ago, they hit on something. They hired a new shock specialist, and they hit on this combination that Ken really likes the feel of, and it's reflected in their racing the last couple of weeks.
Well, it makes a big difference. I mean, the shock package gives you a lot of feel in the racetrack, and what you're looking for, what driver's looking for when you look for the feel is grip. So if that's helped Kenny, that's going to give him a lot of confidence.
This is 9th place.
And we see Harvick has taken that spot away from Jeff Green. That is Jeff Green, the AOL car, the 30. And in happy hour, he was just clearly faster than all the other cars, talking about Jeff Green.
Now, here's the first of the cars that pitted under that last caution, moving back through the field. The 99 of Jeff Burton. He restarted in 25th place. He's trying to take 14th from Ricky Craven.
And Tony Stewart, the 20 car, is following Jeff Burton. He also made a pit stop, a chassis adjustment, and 4 tires.
So we're at lap 72 now. These guys, 73 make it. These guys who have not stopped up the front. If this is a long green flag run, how far can they go?
I don't know. Be honest with you, Alan.
Well, I'll tell you. How about
here comes the math. Here comes the math.
How about lap 110?
Okay.
Is what most of the people were telling me would be the farthest they'd want to run. Maybe not pitting under that caution could turn into a mistake if this goes green for a while.
Well, I agree with you, especially if some of these guys take 2 tires, even though that they may have to be forced to take 2 tires.
Battle for 3rd position. Hornaday, after that fast run to begin with, has fallen back. Ricky Rudd trying to take that away. Hornaday was battling for the lead just a few laps ago, and now he's battling for 4th.
Matt Yoakum.
About 10 laps ago, Alan, Ron Hornaday came on the radio and was talking to his crew chief, Donnie Bradis, that the car has become tight entering the corner, so he was playing with the brake bias, trying to free it up a little bit, but his biggest concern is how the rotors look compared to the competition. So his spotter, Skip Eiler, was eyeing Hornaday's rotors. He said they were glowing, but not any worse than the 40 car.
You know, another problem you've got to be careful here is not running your brakes too hard at the start of the race. Because what happens is you'll glaze the brakes over. And what that is, you get the brakes so hot right off the bat, it actually leaves a film over the rotor. And it hurts the braking of that, and that never comes back. So you got to be, I think that happened to Jimmy Spencer earlier this year.
At the first race here, exactly the same thing. What happens is the brake pads get so hot that the material sticks to the rotors.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, they just won't stop. You hit the brakes, you've got a good pedal, but the car will not slow down the way it has been slowing down.
Burton and Stewart continuing to march through the field on the fresher tires, taking 13th away from Johnny Benson. Marty.
Well, I'd say the pit stop earlier has really paid off for Jeff Burton, guys. As we've mentioned, he restarted 25th. He is now up to the 13th position. He was a little bit loose and a little bit tight on that last run. They came in, they fixed that. Now he's just a little bit loose off. And the scary part is his car's just now starting to come in. They are terrible on new tires, but absolutely terrific on these old tires.
And that's where you want to be terrific. You want to be terrific longer down in the run. That's going to make a big difference towards the end of the race.
Now working on Ken Schrader for 12th. You see Bobby Labonte just in front of them. He's the 11th place driver. And we're 80 laps in. Rusty Wallace, the leader, has caught the tail.
Oh, Rusty Wallace. I don't know if Sterling right now is a little bit faster or Rusty in trying to work his way through lap traffic has slowed Rusty down.
He's been in some very heavy traffic here these last couple of laps around. He's put Buckshot Jones another lap down, Mike Wallace, Jason Leffler. And would you believe Mark Martin is a lap down, 88 laps in Richmond. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the move.
And Hornaday is about to lose another spot.
So Junior to 5th, Hornaday back to 6th.
And the guy that we haven't talked about that's now in 4th spot is Jimmy Spencer. And he's duplicating his great run in May with another great run here tonight.
Can't forget about Jimmy because Jimmy never forgets. Bill?
Very good, Alan. You know, Spencer's had great runs the last 2 weeks, too. In fact, Liz talked about it on the pre-race show. At Bristol, had a good run going, broke a motor, had a good run going at Darlington, blew up, had a good run here last night and won. Spencer's in a car that has 2 top 10 finishes already this year. I heard something very funny on the radio a few minutes ago. They said, Jimmy, just be patient and you'll get to the front. That's a new strategy for Spencer.
Never work, Bill. That will never work with Jimmy Spencer.
Scoring serial on Jimmy, steadily picked his way to the front. And you saw the lead change while Bill was giving us his report on Spencer. Sterling Marlin has overtaken Rusty Wallace and gone to the point. 3rd different driver to lead. Jeremy Mayfield going a lap down. What was that? Was that some smoke from Brett Bodine's car?
Yes, and we see the 4 car has made some contact with the outside retaining wall.
Caution. Caution's out.
Now watch Michael and all these guys race back to the line.
Sterling didn't give anybody anything. That's how he's supposed to do it, according to you guys, right?
According to me.
Yeah, I agree with
MVP, you go for that?
I go for that.
Got to pick that thing up, boys. Wheel comes off easier.
He's hit it pretty good, whatever it is that caused it. Let's take a look.
On the very right side of the screen, right front tire goes flat just as he comes off the corner.
You're right, BP. You can see the car drop down on the right front, right at that point.
Leaders are on pit road. Under the caution flag, Matt. All the guys a lap down trying to get one back from the leaders, but it's not going to work because Ricky Rudd is gone. All right, let's get some updates from pit road now that we're back racing. Marty?
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. on that last run, guys, a little bit tight in the center. They took half a pound out of the right front tire. The car is outstanding, and they have a million reasons to want to win tonight. They look very strong.
Dale Jr. running in 3rd. Started the race in the 8th position. Talked to him at the driver's meeting tonight. Said, how's your car? He said, it's okay. He looks pretty darn good right now, doesn't it?
Rusty Wallace, we can see 2/3 of a second behind the leader. He's getting a strong challenge from Dale Jr. And we see Rusty losing distance to Ricky Rudd.
Looking at our Williams race chase.
And you can see that these guys are just losing ever so slightly to Ricky Rudd. Dale Earnhardt Jr., great corner up in 3 and 4.
Here he comes. While we watch this race for second place, let's hear from Sterling Marlin, who was leading until he came down pit road a minute ago, Dave.
That's right, and he put the car in gear that only had reverse. Is it all transmission related, Sterling?
Yeah, I think it is. I got in a little too hot on the pit and got a little too far forward, and Schrader stopped short, blocked me in, and put it in reverse to back up like we've done 100 times before, and it tripped something. So we hate it. Coors Light car is really fast, and had a good car.
He had a really good car. He's had a good car for the past few weeks, guys. He's moved from 6th to 3rd in points, and in that time, he completed every lap, all 2,046.
Mike Wallace got some problems. He's shaking the car back and forth to see if everything's in one piece there. Or?
Yeah, he may have thought he's got a tire going down, so he's probably turning the wheel back and forth to see if they're all up on air.
Mike back in 35th place, 1 lap down to the race leader. Got overtaken just before that last caution came out.
Battle still rages between Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And like I said earlier, you know, getting in the corner, I think it's the preferred line is being on the bottom. But getting off the corner, you want to be up high. That's why you see one have a little bit of advantage right now getting in. Then Rusty will pull back up, getting up off the corner.
Tight.
And Junior's making this pass 1 foot at a time. He finally clears Rusty Wallace.
So Dale Jr. to 2nd, Rusty Wallace back to 3rd. They're behind leader Ricky Rudd. We are under caution at Richmond. Elliott Sadler's got some problems.
And that's not the reason for the caution flag. His earlier spin is the reason for the caution flag. He's trying to keep up with the field with a flat right rear tire. Here's the earlier one.
Ouch.
And I'm not too sure that the right rear tire wasn't flat that caused that spin.
I don't think so, BP. I watched that right rear tire, and it was up until he hit the wall.
So he got the first one. Now he's trying to keep up with the field and come back around to the caution flag.
And it peels off the wheel.
And when that steel wheel goes down and meets the racetrack, not a lot of traction there.
The bright orange spoiler, that was one of the cars eligible for the $1 million bonus if he could win the race. The fan who was paired with Elliott was Sharon Bauer of Peoria. Sharon, sorry. She's still having a good time.
They're waving goodbye to that $1 million.
Yeah, that's too bad. This team was so determined to try and make a good effort here tonight. They built a brand new car for the race. We're going to test it at a 3/4 mile track in Lakeland, Florida. It was raining there, so instead they diverted to another 3/4 mile track in Memphis, Tennessee. All just to try and get this thing ready to have a shot at that $1 million tonight. None of the leaders have pitted under this caution. A break here. Back for the restart in a minute. Flag here at Richmond. Ricky Rudd, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Ward Burton. They are the top 5.
And a battle for the lead as Junior looks on the inside of Ricky Rudd. Could not. Why have we got a spin?
Mike Wallace right up through traffic. More scattering. Hornaday is spun. The rest of the field is stopped in the cloud of smoke. And when the smoke clears, how many will have been involved? Looks like just those 2.
Oh, that was lucky.
All right, the 7th car, Mark Martin is right behind him. Come off the corner. And right there, some contact between Mark in the 6 and Mike Wallace in the 7. The 7, Mike Wallace just nails the gas trying to get the car to do a 360. It did one, but the nose hit the wall.
See the 20 just barely get through. Watch Tony Stewart in this.
Look at that. I mean, that's exactly what the drivers are seeing.
Yeah, you're right. You cannot see a thing, and your spotter is trying to tell you which way to go, but he can't see any better than what you can see.
Keep an eye on that orange 20 car. Well, you won't see him in the cloud of smoke either. Mike Wallace, he's coming right up on the wall. See him there? And Wallace goes right down and clears in front of him.
And a deal like that, you're as worried about getting hit than you are hitting somebody.
On board with Mark Martin, you saw that great run he had and got in the back of Mike Wallace. Watch Hornaday, he gets hit.
Yep. Damage to the back, definitely. Somebody got into the back of him.
Let's get a pit report on Dale Jarrett from Dave Burns.
Yeah, Alan, he's been battling a loose condition, and they made another track bar adjustment and changed 4 tires under this caution.
Go that you get one chance to bring a damaged car back out of the garage and get it up to speed on the racetrack. If it's not up to speed when it comes back out the first time, you're done for the night. You don't get another chance. So before you bring that car out, you better make sure everything's strapped down tight and it's going to go.
And I think that's a good policy, you know, because guys are going to take a little bit more time getting it fixed than they would have just hurry up and tape it up, bell and wire it up, and send it out there, and then be in the way, or maybe even perhaps dangerous.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. tried to chase Ricky Rudd and fend off Rusty Wallace at the same time. Let's get a note from his pit from Marty.
Yeah, so far no worries for Dale Earnhardt Jr. This is a brand new car called Step Daddy. Not Step Daddy, but Step Daddy. That's what they like to say. And it's painted red inside. Normally, that would be gray, and that's in honor of Dale Jr.'s favorite Busch Series car called Stepchild and Stepmom. Those cars got 11 wins for Dale Earnhardt Jr., including 3 in a row here for DEI in the NASCAR Busch Series. Now, they're hoping that the red inside the car fires them up and reminds them of days of old. So far, the car outstanding for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Junior right now settled into second spot, holding off Rusty Wallace, but losing a little bit of ground to Ricky Rudd as we look down on the Richmond International Raceway, courtesy of the United States Army Skycam. Be an Army of one. There are 212 ways to be a soldier. Find out more at GoArmy.com. Whoa, Rusty really had a run at Junior there in the middle of the corner.
I'm really impressed with Junior. Watching the rotors on the 8 car, he really doesn't seem to be using a lot of brakes to be able to run in the second spot.
And really, if your car's working good here at Richmond, you shouldn't have to use a lot of brake. If the car gets in good and has a lot of grip and it'll roll through the center, you really use less brake. The guys that are using a lot of brake right now, their car's not handling very well because they're trying to use the brake to set the car.
Ricky Rudd, Dale Jr., Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Ward Burton. There are your top. Marlin on a pit stop at lap 94 from the lead, breaking the transmission on his car. And he's behind the wall. That's first and third in the championship who are in the garage right now. Bill Weber.
Well, Alan, during the most recent caution period, all the teams were warned on the NASCAR frequency. It's 9:15. The penalty box is open. This is your only warning. We had NASCAR Director of Operations Kevin Triplett on the pre-race show talking about the on-track incidents last night and the last couple of weeks in the Busch Series. But you have to be certain of one thing. NASCAR is watching the Winston Cup guys even more closely. They're more experienced, better drivers, better performance, and more patience is expected from them.
The penalty box door is open.
What happens if someone makes contact with another car in front of them and NASCAR deems it to be irresponsible? They will bring that driver in that made the contact, and he will sit for a couple laps.
And the bottom line is that will be a judgment call on the NASCAR race control officials' part. They make the call from here in the tower. Was that rough driving, or was it incidental contact? Was it pass interference? Was it not? Same concept.
Every sport has got to have a referee. Let's check Rusty Wallace and see what kind of RPMs he's turning. The front straightaway is really where they use these engines up. Watch this, 70, 85, 6, 9,100 RPMs. It's probably 300 or 400 more RPMs than the backstretch. We saw 91. Let's see what we see in the back. 8,700 RPM. Exactly 400. I did good. What kind of mile per hour down this front straightaway? The fastest part? 146 miles per hour before he slams on the brakes and turns left.
Told you all about Rusty's superlatives here at Richmond and how much he's dominated at this track. We talked with him about that earlier in this weekend, and he said one word here for him: confidence.
When I go to Richmond, I feel like, hey, this is a track I'm going to win. And when I go to the rest of the racetracks, I go there to win, but I'm thinking, man, there's a lot of hot rods, you know, they got a chance to win this track. But when I go to Richmond, I'm thinking, you know, I've won here 6 or 7 times, and I'm probably one of the favorites to win here. And I go there with a lot better mental attitude when I go to Richmond.
Hey, Rusty's car's tight. Real tight right now. Looks tight. Tight as a hair shirt.
Are you sure it's tight? What was that line?
Tighter than a hair shirt.
Like Sterling Marlin has repaired the transmission on his car.
That's a hair shirt.
I'll let you think about that one.
I thought about it. I don't like the mental image.
Not getting up to speed very quick, is he?
No,
And here comes Jeff Gordon. Been in the garage since lap 35. We're at 143 now.
Saw a new deck lid on the DuPont Chevrolet. I would hope so, because the other one is badly mangled.
107 laps down for Gordon, 48 laps down for Marlin. Minimum lap time that they have to run here tonight is a 25.31 second lap.
Battle for the 5th position, and Kevin Harvick, the 29 car, takes it away.
Brett Bodine's car has just been reported out of the race due to overheating. Mike Wallace's car is in the garage as well. Kevin LePage and Elliott Sadler also both off the track.
Tony Stewart started back in 33rd position. He's closing in on 6th spot. Walking through the garage here this afternoon, talking to the mechanics. Who's the favorite to win? They all told me Tony Stewart is so fast. It's unbelievable.
But it's about to be lap 150, and he's not leading. Matt?
Alan, after his first pit stop on lap 29, he's been climbing about 10 spots every 25 to 30 laps. But like you mentioned, his prediction of lap 150 of being in the lead is probably not going to happen. He's had trouble. His car a little bit loose. About 10 laps ago, he wanted some confirmation from his crew chief, Greg Ciminelli, who became a new father on Wednesday, about which way to turn the brake bias, because he wasn't exactly sure, but he's not going to make the lead by lap 150.
All right, let's see if Tony Stewart is gaining on Ricky Rudd or losing ground. He's 5.16, 5.17. Now he's lost some ground as he went up to pass the 21 car. The lap car, you can see that he cost Tony Stewart about 1/10 of a second. .27, right along with him. We'll see, just increased the distance by about 2/10. Tony's back where he started.
Nice little wiggle there coming across the start-finish line.
But it looks like that Tony Stewart right now is about 0.05 of a second per lap slower than Ricky Rudd.
And Tony, you don't want to turn that brake bias to the right because clockwise is more rear brake, and if you're loose, it's going to be worse.
Stewart hanging out in 7th spot, trying to get 6th away from Ward Burton, which he will do with relative ease. And he just blew by Ward. Gordon back on pit road. What color do you think that car is, Benny?
I don't have any idea, but I was really looking forward to seeing this car under the lights and seeing it change colors and what have you. And
all right, come on, take a guess. What color is that car? There is a name for it.
Good there.
I have no idea.
Absolute Purpling Prism.
That would have been my second guess.
That would have been my second
That's
guess.
the official name for that color.
Blue would have been the first one.
Matt?
Well, I can't give you the name of the paint color, Alan, but if you wanted to paint your own car or your Harley, it's $1,500 a gallon. How about those numbers, huh?
No thanks.
You got a Harley?
Painting the tank and the fenders on my Harley with that stuff would cost more than the bike did.
Man.
So Gordon now 111 laps down and headed back out on track. Going to be a big hit in the points for him tonight.
They've got a new player in this deal. The guy in 6th spot right now, Tony Stewart. The last 2 or 3 laps, Tony Stewart has been faster than Ricky Rudd.
Napa Field summary. Wallace, Rudd, Gordon, Marlin, Brett Bodine have been the 5 drivers who've led. Had a lot of cautions in the opening laps. Just a couple of cars officially out of the race. Mike Wallace from an accident and Brett Bodine from overheating. Kevin LePage is behind the wall. They're continuing to work on his car. Lead lap got 30 cars right now. The same circuit with the leader, and here comes Kevin Harvick. Well, he was till he had that little slide there. Marty?
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr., you guys were just talking about how well or how poorly his car actually is running right now. He is tight in the middle and really loose off. And what happens is when he's tight in the middle, when the car finally turns, it makes the car loose. So they have to fix the tight in the middle problem first before the loose off will help out.
That's exactly right, Marty. What happens is when you're pulling the car down, you got those front tires turned, and when you get off the corner, finally those front tires get a grip, and it just swings the rear car around and makes it loose. We got trouble up in 2.
Buckshot Jones, Ron Hornaday involved, and it looks like Matt Kenseth has gotten a piece of it. 7th caution. Here they come, back to the caution. And Rudd holds the lead. What a shame for Hornaday.
Sure was. Had a great run going. We see a little fire under the hood as he tries to get the car
to a fire extinguisher.
To a fire extinguisher. Now we see the fire under the car.
Not very happy with the 44 about the looks of it.
Okay, last night when 2 guys who were involved in an accident parked next to each other, it got kind of interesting on the track. This doesn't look like it has the intensity.
No, I don't think so. I think right now that Ron Hornaday, as we see him taking his gloves off and getting ready to get out of the car, I just think he's too disappointed right now to do too much of anything.
I believe he may have a conversation here. He didn't get the chance to have that conversation. Buckshot wisely drove off.
He looked like he wanted to, though,
Yeah.
didn't he? Ah, that's too bad. Ron had a great run going in the early laps. That car is a mess.
Ran real good last night, too, in the Busch race.
Buckshot Jones has taken his car into the garage area. Don't look, Ron. You're not going to be happy what you see under there. And Matt Kenseth, the 3rd car involved. Pit road is closed, so we'll take a commercial break here. Come back for the pit stops and the restart. National Raceway under caution once again. 7th time in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400.
Watch the 17, Matt Kenseth. As Hornaday is spinning down the racetrack, Kenseth tries to go between him, the inside wall, and Hornaday, and caught mostly Hornaday.
Let's see what happens here. We got Got him going down on the inside of the 44. It's just hard to tell from that angle what if 44 came down on the 14 or the 14 slid up into him. The 14 would have been fine if Kansas would have missed him, though.
Yeah, I don't think they had much damage at all. Matt Yoakum.
Kevin Harvick was the first car of the leaders that hit his pit box. He says his car was extremely loose, but his crew chief Kevin Hamlin says, but you're very fast. He says, yes, but I can't pass anybody. Air pressure adjustment in the right rear to Bill.
Air pressure adjustment for Rusty Wallace to put the car back where it was. They got a plastic bag off the grill. He's away to Dave.
Here's for Ricky Rudd, no changes. He's out of here. He is beaten by Rusty Wallace. Let's go to Marty.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. came down pit road. He said, I have a real bad push, but don't fix the loose off problem. Help me turn the car. Half or a pound out of the right front, a pound into the left front, pound into both rear tires. That should help him have more forward bite and up on the track bar. A host of changes for Junior. Because of that, he lost a position on pit road.
Did you see that Rusty Wallace crew pull that 13-5?
I'll tell you what, that is a pit stop, boys. You guys did great.
They're trying to get in my pocket, aren't they?
Man.
Wallace, Rudd, Spencer, and then Harvick and Earnhardt Jr. try to decide who got off pit road next between them.
That's Jimmy Spencer. Third place car on the outside of Mark. Clears Mark Martin, takes off after Ricky Rudd.
Wallace, Rudd, Spencer, Harvick, Earnhardt Jr., then Stewart, Ward Burton, Johnny Benson, Terry Labonte up to ninth.
Battle for the lead. Here's Rudd on that left rear quarter of Rusty Wallace down in one.
And that 28 is on the bottom. Hooked up down there.
We can see that Rudd, it says 1/10 of a second behind. Now he's just 0.06 of a second. And check it out, side by side down the back. But Rusty Wallace prevails once again.
It's like you were talking earlier, Wally, that Rudd's car just needs the whole racetrack.
Yeah, he gets in really good. He gets through the center good. But in order to jam the gas on the middle off, to keep that momentum going, you need to let the car slide up to the wall. If you hold it down on the bottom line, you actually scrub speed off, getting off the turn.
But Ricky Rudd realizes that he needs to get by Rusty Wallace while these tires are nice and cool, and he's got some kind of grip on the bottom of the racetrack. That's why he's trying so hard.
Just can't get off of turn two. Every time he looks like he has the nose out in front, they get to turn two, and Rusty comes out ahead of him.
And you know, Ricky's only hope right there is that maybe Rusty drives it in a little bit too deep and slides up the racetrack, and Ricky can get that half-car advantage getting through the center and then pull up off the turn. But, man, Rusty just right now has got his car working a lot better than he had it earlier.
Kevin Harvick closing in on the back of Jimmy Spencer.
Yeah, front six cars all right there together. Let's check speeds at the line.
Looking pretty good for the top two. But meanwhile, Harvick's on the inside of Spencer. Could not make it, had to back off.
Now, based on the last run, I think Tony Stewart's car was the better of these six cars after they've got a bunch of laps on their tires.
Let's go through the field and check out where the front runners are and how their races are progressing. We start with Bill Weber.
Well, another good night for Rusty Wallace at Richmond. He wasn't really happy when they made the air pressure change on the previous pit stop, so they put the tire pressure back. His car does not start off strong. You saw that in the battle with Rudd, but it does seem to get better along stronger. Rusty reminded Robin Pemberton and crew chief, no air pressure changes late in the race. The car just will not respond. Rusty leads. Ricky Rudd is in second, Dave.
And Bill, Ricky Rudd's trying to win his first race here since 1984. I just checked with Michael McSwain, his crew chief. No adjustments to the 28. They like the way the car is handling. They didn't even change any air pressure. Bill?
Jimmy Spencer is having another great run, third week in a row. Can they finally make it pay off? His car gets loose deep in the run, but that's Spencer's style. So they didn't make any changes on that last stop, except for 4 tires and fuel. Jimmy Spencer, another strong run. He's got the 8 right on his bumper, Marty.
And that is Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is right on Jimmy Spencer's bumper. They made a whole host of changes on that last stop. They changed the air pressure in every tire. They also made a track bar adjustment, hoping to loosen him up just a little bit. Now, what Dale Jr. has done on the racetrack is he has found a line that he likes. It's not the lower groove, it's not the higher groove, it's about a half lane up as he fights Jimmy Spencer going down the front stretch. He likes that half groove lane right in the middle. To Matt Yoakum.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. just took away the 4th position from Kevin Harvick. Harvick says his car is good, but he still cannot pass even after that air pressure adjustment in the right rear. Back in May, he finished 17th, 1 lap down. He said when he came back here, he wanted to improve on that because this place had his number. Also, Tony Stewart is riding in 6th. Wally Dallenbach was right. After about 15 or 20 laps, the 20 car of Stewart really seems to come in. The problem for Stewart right now, though, is he's got radio trouble. They've gone back and forth between their first and second radio, but the team is having a huge difficulty hearing Stewart. A lot of noise on the radio. To Marty.
Get back to Marty in just a second. How about that wiggle for Dale Jr. off turn 4 last lap?
Dale Jr.'s really loose. I'm just trying to see if he still has the same problem he had earlier, which was being tight first and making the car loose. That what it looks like to UBP. It looks like he's got the car turning, and it's really leaning over, getting off the turn.
And you, like we kept talking about, when you get off the turn and those front tires catch hold of the racetrack and stop sliding, then the back end wants to jump out from under the car.
He did a great job to save that thing. Let's go back, take another look at it. This is 2 laps ago now, off of turn 4.
Back and forth, that slide.
And that doesn't look big, but believe me, folks, from inside that car, that was big.
This is the race for 3rd.
These guys, when we see these fellas try to make the pass, off 2 is where they really have the trouble. When they get on the inside, like Jimmy Spencer, here comes Junior on the inside of Spencer. Turn 2 is where he's going to really have his problem getting off that corner. This time Spencer backed off and let Junior go.
So Junior to 3rd, Spencer back to 4th, in front of Harvick 5th, and Stewart 6th. Ward Burton is your 7th place runner. Marty?
And Ward was tight on that last run. Allen coming off the big win in the Southern 500, having a very solid performance. Right now, as you said, in 7th place. They took 2 rounds of wedge out of the left rear, trying to tighten up Ward Burton. The car that Ward is driving tonight is not the car that was supposed to be here. They built a brand new car to come to Richmond. They tested it Wednesday. Ward didn't like it. They brought their same old car back. Bill Weber.
Johnny Benson, currently running 8th on the racetrack, had an eventful Friday, lost their primary car here in a wicked crash, but the team has worked hard to keep Benson in contention here at Richmond this weekend. Johnny said they've been the best car he feels in 1 and 2. Right now, they're just being patient as we cross the halfway mark in this race. 15.31 for Benson's crew and the Valvoline bunch on their last pit stop. So Johnny Benson trying to take a backup car to victory lane. Behind him on the racetrack in the running order is Terry Labonte. 10th 2 weeks ago at Bristol, 11th last week at Darlington. Maybe not big numbers, but they are if you're Terry Labonte. A very frustrating season for the entire Kellogg's crew. But coming back tonight, also carrying one of the Looney Tune characters on board, trying to inspire the entire team with the antics of the Roadrunner. That's what Terry would like to be tonight and run away from everybody. The last time Terry Labonte had back-to-back top 10 finishes, Bristol in Texas in July of 2000. Marty?
And his brother Bobby Labonte is running 11th on the track. Terry just passed him. Bobby has been loose everywhere all night long. He has a problem also with the brakes, just a little bit of a problem. When he goes and hits the brake into the corner, he feels a vibration in the front. It's nothing too significant, but still a little bit of concern for Bobby Labonte. Now, normally some teams might be able to help that out with a brake bias. We've talked about that a lot, a dial that the driver can turn to add more front brake or more rear brake. Bobby Labonte does not run one of those dials. He has not run one for about 2 years now, so he cannot fix that problem inside the race car and cannot help those vibrating brakes. To Matt Yoakum.
Kyle Petty has climbed from 36 to 11th. I spoke with his crew chief, Chris Hussey. He said Kyle's not said anything on the radio about the car tonight. And usually when Kyle doesn't talk, that means the car is very good. Still no adjustments on this 45 car. Tonight he picked up his first career win here in 1986 on the old track configuration. He's never won a race in Winston Cup for Petty Enterprises. Maybe that will come tonight, but right now he's on par for his best finish of the season, Marty.
Jeff Burton having a very solid run on the racetrack. They were very upset after that last pit stop with Jeff Gordon's team. Frank Stoddard, the crew chief for Jeff Burton, came off the toolbox and went and asked Robbie Loomis, the crew chief for Jeff Gordon, are you going to pit under this caution? Robbie Loomis said no. So Jeff Burton in his pit stall, he's pitted right behind Jeff Gordon, pitted very far forward in his pit stall. Then Jeff Gordon came down pit road, blocked them in. They lost a lot of spots on pit road, but now they're gaining them back on the racetrack. Dave Burns.
Instead of gaining, Ken Schrader's team may be losing. Alan alluded to early in the program how they had worked on getting through the middle of the corner with a shock absorber change that they made in yesterday's final practice. Well, it's gotten tight in the center again, and the team has had to rethink how they're going to adjust on Schrader to get him through this race. His drought right now, his winless drought, is way up to 328, and they would like to break that tonight. Alan?
Schrader trying to fend off Jerry Nadeau for the 13th place. Nadeau started 39th. Moved his way up quietly but nicely through the field.
Yeah. Oh, almost gets in the back of the 36 car. I talked to Tony Furr, the crew chief on the 25 car, and they said they really did not get a lot of practice in the 25 car. So basically the setup they have in this car is the same thing that Jeff Gordon had in his. And they thought they would adjust it to Jerry's style as the race progressed.
And you want to talk about someone who's gone no place tonight. Whoa, a little contact there. Dale Jarrett started 16th. He's running 15th. And we're just past halfway in this race. There's Dale.
You know, I want to go back and mention about Bobby Labonte. Said he's got a little bit of a vibration, and that possibly what I talked about earlier, when they get the brakes real hot, they spike that temperature. Sometimes that buildup you'll get a bunch of material on the rotor, and that rotor will vibrate because of that, and that could be a possibility of what Bobby Labonte's going through right now.
6 drivers in the garage area. Liz is with one of them now.
But then you started coming around. What happened out there?
Well, we were really struggling tonight with our dual tours. We just really missed the setup tonight. And as far as the wreck, I'm not really sure. Hornaday was involved, so I imagine he ran in the side of somebody and you know, spun out, and I couldn't get out of the way. So just the wrong place at the wrong time.
Still working on your car, so you're going to try to get back out there?
Yeah, I think we'll get it back out. It's mostly suspension damage, so we'll just go out and ride around for the rest of the night and make the best we can out of it.
And they will make the best of it. Alan?
Well, there you have it.
Yeah. Rusty Wallace is your leader. We're just past halfway. 219 of 400 completed. You're watching NASCAR on No, like walkabout. You know what a walkabout is?
No.
Okay.
I do know that the 28 car all of a sudden is very close to the 2 car.
NASCAR on TNT from the Richmond International Raceway. Coverage of the race for the championship continuing with the Chevy Monte Carlo 400. Just past halfway in the race. Big story of the night tonight. Jeff Gordon, the championship leader, hit by Sterling Marlin, racing for third position at lap 35. He spent 107 laps in the garage getting repairs. He's out on the track now, 114 laps down in 41st place. Ricky Rudd's running second. Gordon came into the night 342 points up on Rudd in the championship. Stands to lose 100 and change of that tonight if Rudd is able to stay up there and have a good top 5 finish.
On board with Jeff Gordon as he goes down into turn 1 at Richmond. You can see right now, points, if points were awarded for positions right now, Ricky Rudd only 212 back.
From 342.
But we're not going to award him now. We got to finish this race. These guys are still racing. Talking about Kenny Schrader, the 36, Jay Nadeau, the 25.
You know what the problem for them is? 2 other cars have passed them since we saw them last.
Oh.
Dale Jarrett's gone by into 13th, Robert Presley into 14th, and now these 2 are racing for 15th.
Did I see a puff of smoke out of Schrader's car?
I hope not. That wouldn't be good for him, would it?
No, it wouldn't. Usually where there's smoke, there's trouble.
That's very profound of you.
I'm not seeing anything now, so maybe I just did not see what I thought I saw.
I saw smoke, Benny.
Oh, good.
You sound like Tweety Bird there. You didn't think what you thought you saw?
Yeah.
Well, that may have been a little, I don't know if it was contact, maybe. Contact smoke.
Okay, they've been side by side for about 20 of the last 30 laps. Are they having fun or are they getting frustrated?
I just want to hit them. I mean, that's what you're feeling. 25's going, man, I need to just bump him out of the way. But I know everybody's watching right now, so in the meantime, here comes Bobby Hamilton trying to slip underneath.
He doesn't know everybody's watching. But it would be bad timing.
It would be real bad. But it is frustrating because these 2 cars are, they look like they're so equal right now, but they need the same racetrack to be fast. So that's what's making it so difficult. The 25 cannot get up off the corner on the low side.
Oh, there we go.
There's that little temper I was looking for, BP.
That was a slide job.
I just want to hit him, that's all.
15th place for Nadeau, looking down on Richmond from our U.S. Army Skycam. United States Army be an army of 1. Got a car scraping the wall up in turns 1 and 2. It is Daffy Duck.
He might have a tire down.
Jeff Green, right front.
And 27's
the other one's up there.
He's got a tire down. That could have been after hitting the wall, of course, but
8th caution of the race. And Rusty Wallace comes back and brings the field to the yellow flag. We'll see some pit stops when we come back in a minute. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Under caution in the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes for the 8th time in the race. This one coming out with Jeff Green and Rick Mast at the same time, but separately. Got into the wall in turn 1. Pit stops under the caution a moment ago.
Rusty Wallace is leaving the pits. We see him, the 28 car right behind him. Then comes the 8, the 26, 29, 20. And after that, I'm not sure.
You're out of breath.
I'm out of breath.
Terry Labonte, then Ward Burton, Bobby Labonte, and Jeff Burton, then Kyle Petty. Let's get some reports on the stops, Bill.
Well, good stop for Rusty Wallace. They made a 1-pound air pressure adjustment. Rusty's still trying to find the same feel he had earlier in the race. Pit stop 14.02. Another good stop for the 2, Dave.
Bill, Ricky Rudd came in, but he was radioing to the crew that the car was a little bit tight getting into the corner, but he really didn't want to mess it up and make it too loose. So they made no adjustments to the 28 car. Marty?
Dave, a good stop for Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team, 15.84 on the stop, a little bit tight from the middle off, but he said it was much better on that run than it was the run before. They went up 1 round on the track bar. He came in 3rd and out 3rd. We're getting ready to go green back out on the racetrack.
Mark Martin again trying to get a lap back from leader Rusty Wallace, and again unsuccessful. comes Rudd for the lead, looking inside.
And like BP said earlier, this is the time to do it. This is the best your tires are going to be. So you really need to get this done in the next 8 or 9 laps where you got the best grip in your tires.
All right, here comes Ricky. He's looking on the inside, but Rusty gets that great run off too.
Mentioned that both Rick Mast and Jeff Green have taken their cars behind the wall after the damage from the flat tires we saw a minute ago.
Now does Ricky Rudd become offensive or defensive, because he has Dale Earnhardt Jr. right behind him. Ricky Rudd showing just 0.15 of a second behind the leader. Earnhardt Jr. 0.4 of a second. Folks, you can see 0.4, now 0.3. It isn't much.
Cut slow.
Here goes Rudd.
He is doing everything he can to get down there. Here's where he's got the problem, getting the bike off the corner. Two-car just shoots out of there. Ricky will drive underneath him, but won't be able to get off the corner.
Now, the other player in this equation is Jeremy Mayfield in the 12 car. He's the first one a lap down. He's in 24th place. Obviously very fast at this point, but he's got to get around these leaders and catch a caution flag.
And here comes Junior on the outside of Ricky Rudd.
Todd Bodine was off the pace on the backstretch a minute ago. He's gathered it back up and continued on.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes over that second spot. Jeremy Mayfield, the lap car between Junior and Ricky Rudd.
5th place. Harvick in the 29, Stewart in the 20, Ward Burton in the 22. Matt?
Ward Burton and Tony Stewart keep battling back and forth for that 6th position. Remember, Stewart is very good after about 15 or 18 laps. He was very fortunate on his pit stop. The 27 car was in. Stewart had to angle around him and had a bad position in his pit box. Fortunately, he didn't have to back up and lose even more time or lose spots. They made air pressure adjustments in both left side tires. They went a half a pound down and a half a round of wedge. He still needs forward bite.
Here it is, race lead. Both looking at the same thing there, BP. Junior's on the roll.
Now here's where Junior had the trouble earlier, was running down low and then getting sideways, getting up off the corner. That looked pretty good, that corner.
Junior has not led yet tonight. Started the race in 8th place.
I think that Dale Jr. wants to pass Rusty Wallace, but I don't think that he's going to try as hard as Ricky Rudd did, because I think that he realizes that Ricky Rudd tried so hard that right now he probably has built the air pressure up in the right front tire, and his car is not quite good. Rudd needs to calm down and run a few laps to let his car come back in.
That's the problem here with the 5 car. It looks like he's got some sparks coming off the side of that thing.
Exhaust pipe hanging out, maybe? Dragging on the ground?
Yep. You got it.
We've talked about how much Terry Labonte needs to have a good run. Black flag's up for him. Can't leave that.
I don't know if that tailpipe's going to make it around many more times. Oh, man, what a terrible, terrible break.
Running in 9th at the time of this trouble. That's too bad for Terry.
And it looks like the Junior's car just all of a sudden, just in a lap, slowed down about 2 miles per hour.
Already fallen a full second back of Rusty Wallace, and you can see the pressure Rudd is now putting on him for that runner-up spot.
Well, that lap, Junior's car was back up to speed, so I'm assuming last lap he had got sideways, pushed or something that caused him to lose that 3 or 4 mile per hour average.
There are where the drivers in the running for the Winston $1 million bonus are positioned in the race. Earnhardt Jr., Ward Burton, Bobby Labonte, all in the top 10. They've given away the money 10 times out of 18 tries that they've had these $1 million bonus races. So
he's got fluid coming out of there too, BP. See that dripping down there?
Bill Weber.
Well, Terry Labonte on pit road. They're going to look where the sparks were coming from. They had to answer the black flag from NASCAR. Terry very disappointed on the radio. They were hoping they'd be able to stay out and maybe catch a caution, but that didn't happen. This team cannot buy a break. Just we were talking about how well things were going. They just had another good pit stop. They've got right side tires on Terry's car and send him back out, but lost valuable laps here on pit road under the green.
There's some kind of fluid coming out of the front of that car.
Terry Labonte has made contact with the outside wall, hasn't he?
Looks like it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
All the scuff marks on the right side tires.
And all of a sudden, the 29 car is losing positions. Or maybe he's trying to gain one, trying to pass Spencer, huh?
Yep, Spencer's in 4th, Harvick's 5th, Stewart 6th. And Harvick trying to move forward and see if he can get around Spencer. 256.
See, you got the pipes hanging here, but there's fluid. All the stuff coming off the pipe here, there's water. I don't know where that's coming from, but you can see right in here, all that water coming out. And there's quite a bit. Now, I don't know if he slipped in that when they went back out or the pipe came off.
Let's take a look at the crash and see what we can see. If you looked at the top of that frame,
yeah, the pipe is up here.
You could see. Well, there's another piece of it though. Something came out from under that car and he ran it over.
Yeah. Now there's the fluid. There's the fluid in the pit stall when they left.
I don't know what.
Any idea what that is, BP?
Oh, it looked like water.
If we get a chance to see that again, if you look right out behind the car, like right around the start-finish line, you're going to see something come flying up. Watch the car as it comes toward the start-finish line. You're going to see something come flying out just as the car turns sideways behind it.
Right,
see it right there. See
right there, yep.
Right there. Something's come out from behind the car, and he's run it over and cut the. See, there's the piece of metal coming down the center of the track right there.
Yeah.
Right up there. He's run over his own tailpipe, I think.
But then if you keep watching, see right there, there's something big going up the racetrack there, which looks
that
like,
is the tailpipe.
Yeah.
The part of the tailpipe or the other tailpipe.
Whatever. No good.
Yep. So from a top 10 run to problems on pit road to out of the rate.
Yeah, you see right here, something's going to fly right off the back of that wrecker. All that stuff. That looks like a brake hose.
Well, it looks like. Man, did it make a mess.
Just exploded out from under the car. Wow. Huh.
Or a seagull.
Well, you never say never, but I don't think so.
Probably not.
We'll come back to Richmond in a minute. They're still cleaning up from Terry Labonte's crash. He is out, and we are back under the green flag. Jeremy Mayfield's first car a lap down in 23rd place.
And Jimmy Spencer reported from the pit area that he has trouble with his third gear, losing spots on the restart because of that.
Yeah, it's no third gear at all now on the 26. No third gear, and when one leaves, sometimes the others follow.
Challenge for the lead. Dale Jr. going to try Rusty again. Not this time. Got a little hello from Mayfield on the back bumper, too.
Kurt Busch trying to get on the inside of Stacy Compton.
These guys are racing for a spot, but they're both a lap down. Compton's 24th, Busch is 25th, Mark Martin in the 6th is 26th. Mayfield up the hill. Kind of drops him back into a race for position with the 97 and 92. All those cars a lap down. Mayfield's got some big problems.
Yeah, he really slowed down there, getting off the 2 and really stacked him up behind him. He's got a tire going down or something.
So he'll be heading for pit road next time by. Whatever it is.
Looks like the tires are up.
I don't know. We'll find out. But Jeremy Mayfield off the pace and in trouble. Matt, what is it?
He just reported into his crew chief, Peter Suspenzo. He does have a tire going down. The 12 car coming into his pit. This team just cannot seem to find luck anywhere. Last week at Darlington 2 laps ago, had a shot for a win. Misfortune. They're going to change all 4. It looks like the tires are up on the right side and the left. So we're going to have to check the pressures. And he's finally down and away. More tough luck for Mayfield.
Don't know.
He obviously had a grip problem there, getting off a 2 and then getting into 3.
Rusty Wallace holding off Dale Jr. again. Seems like if Rusty can hold him off for the first few laps after a restart, at least at this stage of the race, he's able to get away. Jr. second, Rudd third, Harvick fourth, Stewart fifth. Spencer's back to 6th. And you've got Ward Burton, Bobby Labonte, Kyle Petty, and now Dale Jarrett into the top 10. Marty?
Well, you're exactly right, Alan. On the restarts, Dale Earnhardt Jr. tries to get the lead from Rusty Wallace. They want to get the bonus points for leading a lap tonight. They are fighting to get up in the top 5 in points. They are currently 7th, but very close to Bobby Labonte in the point standing. So they do want to lead a lap. Dale Jr. will get up there, and then a spotter, Ty Norris, will tell him back off because the rotors are getting too hot. Don't push it too hard. We can lead a lap later.
The way Rusty Wallace is running, that might be a little tougher than they think it's going to be, leading the lap later.
And guys, Matt tells us from pit road it was the right rear tire that was down on air pressure on Jeremy Mayfield's car. It's left Mayfield 3 laps down in 29th place, cut tire on the right rear. That's too bad. We need to follow up on Jeff Green and Rick Mast, who went to the garage area both on the same lap with right fronts down and damage to their machines. A phrase we heard a lot in the garage leading up to this race, brake heat, and how it'll affect the tires.
BP, I think you hit on it earlier. Oh, we talked about you get so much heat built up in the rotors that it melts the bead, especially on the right front wheel. And what happens is it melts a bead and the tire goes down and you go flying up into the wall.
That always is a problem in a racetrack where you use a lot of brakes. Here, Martinsville, Phoenix.
And if you're not familiar with the term, the bead on a tire is the point at which the tire seals to the rim. Makes that airtight lock, if you will.
And that's only about an inch from a red hot rotor, brake rotor. If these guys really use brakes, like Ty Norris told Junior a moment ago, he's standing down in turn 1. He watches the car go in the corner from his spotting position. When he sees those rotors getting cherry red, he tells Junior, back off a little bit because you're overheating the brakes.
And Richmond, you really have to run a lot of front brake because he's like going into turn 1. It's such a big, wide arc. If you put too much rear brake in it, the car gets sideways real easy as you're arcing down into turn 1. So normally you have to run a little bit more front brake than you would at a place like Martinsville where you go straight into the corner more than you do here going into turn 1 at Richmond.
Still got 22 cars on the lead lap and 115 laps to go. Right now, Rusty Wallace is out in front. Can he get his 7th Richmond win tonight? Documentaries one week where we have the camera follow him making his sprint. You know that they do the thing with the guys, the track and field guys, and they're running in slow motion. And here comes Benny just leaping up the grandstand steps.
I watched the whole thing.
I think we'd call it a brisk walk. I don't think we'd call it a sprint.
I was thinking more of a meander.
Yeah, well, that too.
Second place, still a good fight. Dale Jr., Ricky Rudd, Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart.
Here comes Happy Harvick on the inside of Rudd. Well, that inside just hard to get some grip down there.
It sure is.
Why is the question? Why is it that way on this racetrack?
Well, I mean, you can get the grip down there, but you just can't do it and run low getting off the corner.
When they start running some laps and these tires get nice and hot, when you down low, the car starts sliding across that asphalt. And you just cannot get on the throttle quickly enough. Otherwise, the car will push directly into the wall.
Tony Stewart still has not led yet tonight. Said his goal was to be in the lead by lap 150. Hey, Tony, it's 295 now. Better get going. Bill Elliott trying to move through Robert Presley and take the 11th spot away. And does. On that last caution flag, most all of the leaders stayed on the track, but a handful did pit. Elliott was one of them. Elliott, Joe Nemechek, Johnny Benson, Ricky Craven, Dave Blaney, Todd Bodine, and Jeff Burton are the cars who are on the lead lap who pitted. So you're watching Benson and Nemechek and Elliott here on fresher tires try to work their way through some guys who stayed out last time. Farthest forward, well, hang on back to that. First, this news flash. Tony Stewart is through. That's fourth place. Just going to say the farthest forward of the guys who pitted under that last caution is Jeff Burton in the 99 car. He's running in 10th right now. There's Jeff.
As he tries his best to chase down the 88 car of Dale Jarrett, who's trying to chase down the 22 of Ward Burton at 8th and 9th. Dave, what about the 88 car?
Well, Benny, they'd be ecstatic with a 9th place finish anywhere in the top 10. They've been chasing that car literally all day long. We talk about, you know, little adjustments here and little adjustments there. They've gone over 8 pounds of air adjustments. They've had over more than 5 rounds of wedge on the car. And they've they've moved the track bar more than an inch tonight, trying to get that car to stop being loose. It's running the best it has all night, and they've been telling DJ, oh, by the way, just keep in mind, you've passed more cars than anybody else tonight. They keep going back, they keep going forward, and now the car is the best it's been.
And that's what makes a championship team.
Ricky Rudd trying his best to put some heat on Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car.
Little check up on the gas there, huh?
Yeah, he's probably tight getting off. He had to just get off the gas just a little bit and get that front grip.
Thought I heard him into the rev limiter, too, on the front side.
Yeah, you did. You did. Going down into turn 3, he was on the rev limiter. Let's listen. Oh, this is coming straight away. Yep, he's in it going into 1, too.
And that rev limiter on these cars, the engine builders were telling me, are set at 9,200 tonight.
And an easy thing to do here is overdrive. Get into the corner way too deep, and the rev limiter helps you not drive that far into the corner. Roll it in.
Can Rudd get that grip on the bottom of the racetrack? My guess would be no.
Hasn't been able to all night. Rudd has been under people and under people and under people, but every time he comes off of turn number 2 on the bottom side of somebody, he can't stay with him. And as they get side by side briefly, Stewart's closing in.
And check that out. Last lap, Tony Stewart was the fastest car in the top 10. Dave?
Well, Benny, Allen referred to Ricky Rudd not being able to turn. He has the same problem that I reported on earlier. He'll get into the turn, he'll start to turn it, and then it will start to snap loose on him. And so he's very cautious when he gets down on the bottom.
I think Earnhardt got a little bit loose up off a 2, and they had to check up a little bit, and Ricky checked up in a 20, just filled that hole down on the bottom.
Now they've got a slow car as they come off the corner. Buckshot Jones right in front of these three.
And he bails, gets out of the way.
Still there, still there.
Talk a lot, it seems like, in the last month or so about Tony Stewart's car being better on the long runs. We've run 37 laps since the restart.
Look at how red the rotors are on Tony Stewart's car. He's got the front brake, he's working.
Still down there.
Watch when we go down in the corner.
Clear, all clear.
Yeah, couldn't see him there.
He's going to have to give it up. He can't run under Rudd either off that corner. He had to give it up.
And you have to. If you just stay down there, you're just abusing your tires. And you're going to just finally get that right front so hot, you get into that danger area of possibly going to, talking what we did on the brakes, getting that right front hot and right front tire backing down.
Closing in, final segment of the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 at Richmond.
A grip off the corners either, so really tight right now. He's letting all these guys go by so he can get some clean racetrack is what he's looking for.
Let's go back and take a look at what Benny was talking about a second ago.
He comes off turn 2 and just pulls over to the inside. Lets Ricky Rudd and Tony Stewart. And look at those brake rotors on Stewart's car.
That is the Mark Martin move that we've seen Mark make so many times. For now, Junior hanging on. Harvick not able to finish that pass. Dale Jr. in 4th behind Rusty Wallace, your leader, with 81 laps a year out of a race car after multiple concussions. And he'll be the first to tell you. In fact, he told us here earlier this weekend, trying to come back too soon hurt more than it helped, and he hopes Steve will keep that in mind.
It's not life-threatening, but, getting back in the car might be. And it's... I'm proud of Steve. I tell you what, he is smarter than I was back in 1997 when I had 3 concussions in 3 weeks, and it got me in a mess. And I just think he's just doing a very wise thing, and I commend him.
And that's from somebody that's been there.
Yeah, exactly.
Sign inside the car. Steve, keep digging. We miss you. There it is right there.
Is he planting a garden?
That from you. That was Wally.
You expected that.
What am I going to do with you? Get well, Steve.
All of a sudden, Jeff Burton has run across some faster race cars, much faster cars, and he's struggling to get by. He finally clears Junior and moves into the 5th position, make that the 4th position.
Ken Schrader just put a lap down. He's in 21st place.
And Junior doing everything he can to get that car off the corner. He is really sliding that thing.
Leader caught some lap traffic. It's allowed 2nd and 3rd to catch him.
Rusty's going under and Ricky Rudd would love to pass on the outside, but I don't think he's going to be able to. Nope.
Todd Bodine was the last one on the lead lap. He's in 20th place. Ward Burton's on pit road. Marty.
Here's Tony Stewart.
And he's fallen all the way back to 16th right now. He said the car is just terrible. They are extremely tight. They do make an air pressure adjustment. They were also contemplating a wedge adjustment on Ward Burton's car. They're going to take 4 tires and very, very tight right now for the Caterpillar Dodge.
What about this with Stewart and Rudd?
These guys are battling hard. I thought Tony had him cleared back on the backstretch, but Ricky Rudd somehow fought back and he's still there. Those 2 guys got together back there a little bit ago, and I didn't think he was going to get separated.
Start banging those tires together like that, you can knock the front end out of alignment, really affect the handling of your car, and you've still got 64 laps to go.
or puncture a tire like we saw happen to John Andretti just a few laps into the race.
Yep. So while they got messing around with each other, Rusty Wallace got back away from them. NASCAR sending a message down from the control tower to both the 20 and 28 pits that there would still be a lot of racing left to go. Leaders last pitted at lap 235. It's been 101 laps since they stopped, so if no caution comes out soon.
Looney Tune guys had problems tonight.
Had a hard time tonight.
Just joining us or haven't been with us the whole night, Jeff Gordon involved in an accident, racing for third with Sterling Marlin at lap 35. Gordon is in 38th place, 116 laps down.
Gordon's got it right front down, too.
Yep. Now, here come the leaders to pit road. Could be the final stops of the night. How about the pressure on the pit crews? Got to get it done now, Matt.
The caution came at a great time for Tony Stewart. He was going to pit in 3 more laps. He said he needs help up off the corner and a turn in the center. They went up a half a pound in the left rear to Bill.
Pound up on the right rear for Rusty Wallace. Remember, he said we don't want to go down on air pressures late in the race because it's so late they go up on the right rear. Dave?
Once again, no changes for Ricky Rudd. He said to look at the left front fender, not because he thought it was a problem, but so the boys wouldn't have trouble getting the left front tire on. Marty.
Jeff Burton wanted a little more grip off of the corners. They went up quarter pound in both rear tires, and a very long pit stop. They lose a lot of track position on pit road.
Hollywood is upset. Evidently, he had some trouble with the front tires on that 99 car. And you can see the entire crew. They had a really good car. They had moved into the 3rd position, and they lost a lot of time on pit road.
Rusty Wallace wins the race off the pit lane. Ricky Rudd is 2nd. Kevin Harvick 3rd. Dale Jr. 4th. Then Tony Stewart 5th. Dale Jarrett gets out 6th, followed by Jeff Burton, Bobby Labonte, Johnny Benson, and Bill Elliott. Let's go take a look at what happened to Mike Skinner that brought out the caution flag.
Well, he hit the wall.
Not conclusive evidence,
no.
But
can't help you there.
It had already happened. What happened had already happened. And we see Tony Shoemaker arguing with the officials. The officials said, okay, get back on the other side. There's three officials down there. What's that all about?
Spencer was held for a penalty on pit road, and the crew obviously arguing the decision. We will follow up on what the assessment of the penalty was, the reason for their displeasure, in just a moment. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Hey, there. They're saying that the rear of his car was behind that line, and that's a pit infraction. But, you know, that's a tough angle, but I say boo.
It's pitting outside the box, and that is a 1-lap penalty, but they've just reversed the call. They've just allowed Spencer to pass the pace car, make up the lap that he was penalized, and he's back on the lead lap.
A very good call.
I will have to go with that then.
Upon further review,
common sense prevailed.
There you go.
Because there was no one behind Jimmy Spencer. The 5 car, Terry Labonte, that was his pit stall. He's out of the race. They're packed up. They're gone. He was not impeding anyone's progress as they tried to leave their pit.
So Spencer in 18th place, last car on the lead. Robert Presley had a little loop down the front stretch, but he's continued on.
Ricky Rudd is hoping that he can use some of these lap cars. Kyle Petty, Warren Burton, some of these cars to be able to get by Rusty Wallace. He's hoping Rusty will choose high, he'll go low, or vice versa.
You don't think they're thinking anything about that bump a few weeks ago, do you?
At Bristol?
Yeah. Wow, he's right on that bumper. Right on it.
If you're not familiar with what we're talking about at Bristol, on the last lap. These two cars, the 2 and 28. The 28 got in the back of the 2 going in the third corner on the last lap. Kind of pushed him up the hill. Took the spot away. What was it, third or fourth?
Yeah. Fourth spot, yep. Showed it to you in our pre-race show. Also talked about in our pre-race show, how wild was it going to get tonight? We're down to wild time. 42 to go.
Oh, the one car got way high up in turn 2. Might have got a little bit of a tap.
Kenny Wallace kept it off the wall, though. He continues. He's back in 22nd place, a lap down. Well, we've seen this movie before. First few laps after a restart, Rudd pressures and pressures Rusty. He can't get by right away, and he hasn't succeeded yet.
Takes Rusty 10 to 12 laps, Alan. 10 to 12 laps, and that's why they went up on the air pressure, trying to cut that time in half here this late in the race.
Trouble down the front stretch. Dave Blaney has been spun into the tri-oval grass, comes back up onto the surface, but nobody gets into him. Caution's out. 11th one of the race.
And then Ward Burton's going to get his lap back.
Oh, look out. Kyle Petty went screaming down there by where Dave Blaney's car sits, trying to get a lap back from Rusty Wallace. And Blaney's car was sitting there in that cloud of smoke. No fire in the engine there for Blaney. No power.
A lot of damage to that left rear on his car.
Oh, now he's got it fired up. Let's take a look.
It looks like he got hit by, is that Bill Elliott or Casey Atwood?
It's Bill who was right behind him.
Yeah, it's a 93 car. It looked like he checked up because of Stacy Compton getting out of shape here.
Yeah, and Bill's got a lot of damage on the right front of his car.
The 97 car hits the wall. I think that's what started all of it.
Yep, and there's Stacy in the back. Gets out of shape, and
Elliott through Blaney. See the damage on Elliott's car.
Yeah, a lot of damage on the right front.
Ward Burton does get a lap back. He's on pit road for fresh tires along with Elliott, Benson, and a couple of other lead lap. See if those new tires come into play for Benson and the other guys.
But like we talked about earlier in the show, location, location. Is he too far back to get up there fast enough to work through that traffic in only 30-some laps?
Kevin Harvick looking for second on Ricky Rudd. Not yet. Dave, Ricky Rudd has been shadowing Rusty Wallace all night, but he just can't get the lead.
And the problem, Alan, is that where Bill reported that Rusty's car comes in after a few laps, Ricky's car pretty much has what it has right now, according to Michael McSwain. He said, we're good for the entire run. Our car doesn't really improve over time. I guess they can only wish from here.
And the caution flag is out.
Debris has just fallen off the Bill Elliott car. Caution number 12.
Wow, a lot more may.
You see the damage from the earlier accident has been magnified now.
Off, and I don't know what those pieces are. I just hope that they won't puncture a tire, because that's not the drama that Rusty Wallace, Ricky Rudd, those guys need, worrying about debris and puncturing a tire.
Johnny Benson, the first car who took fresh tires under that last caution, is in 10th place now. And we're going to get the restart with 27 laps to go. Rusty Wallace really laying back from the pace car. Look at that.
Green, green, green.
Remember, Rudd's got to try and get him quick. The longer they go, the better Wallace gets over Rudd. Here comes Harvick for second. Rudd's got to be careful here. Jeff Gordon is well down in the field. He's in 36th place, 117 laps down. A second place finish is going to be a good points night for the championship for Ricky Rudd. He can't take a chance on getting taken out by the rookie behind him trying to get a spot.
And I don't think that Ricky Rudd realizes just how good this 29 car is right now. I think this is by far the best that Harvick has been all night long.
Down on Richmond from our U.S. Army Skycam. There are 212 ways to be a soldier. Find out more at GoArmy.com.
Oh, Rusty
Wallace is down. Rusty Wallace bumped onto that high lane. Ricky Rudd goes to the lead. Here comes Harvick underneath.
Ricky's got something hanging off the, looks like the rear of the car there.
Wallace is back in fourth.
I think that's where Harvick made contact with the back bumper of the 28 car.
See that hanging right there? Little piece of metal.
Let's take a look at what happened that knocked Rusty Wallace out of a lead that he's held for so long.
I don't think Ricky... he got loose. I mean, Rusty got loose on his own there. Ricky did not lay a fender on Rusty on that deal. He was close enough underneath the rear of the car where it probably took a little bit of air out, but I don't know, BP, did you see any contact there while it was happening?
I don't know. It was very, very close. I think you're right. I think Rusty got a little bit sideways as he got off the corner, which I think maybe allowed the 28 car to close up faster than he was going to, but whether or not there was contact or not, I couldn't tell.
I think the contact that came was after Rusty was sideways. Rusty was lifted off the gas to get control of his car, and if anything, Ricky nipped him there. If anything. So, the man who's led 276 laps of this race is back in fourth. And now with 18 laps to go, Kevin Harvick trying to get the lead on Ricky Rudd. Tony Stewart just got punted up out of the groove a lap ago by Jeff Burton. Stewart has fallen back to 9th place.
Harvick's car, where did he come from? This is by far the best his car has been all night. And he turns Ricky Rudd sideways off. And how did Rudd save that car?
That is a save right there. Man.
Here comes Dale Jr. on Rudd for second as Harvick takes the lead. Short track wildness has set in the late laps in Richmond. Gonna be some hot tempers after this one. Kevin Harvick looking for his 3rd win of his rookie season.
And here we have Dale Earnhardt Jr.
15 to go.
15 laps to go. If he could get to the front, pick up $1 million bonus. Tell you what, might not be enough time for Kevin Harvick to get away.
How did Rudd save that car?
I don't know.
But I know he wants to get back up on the bumper of that 29 car real bad.
Let's go take a look at how Kevin Harvick got the lead.
Off turn 2.
Now it happened the same. That's exactly what happened to Rusty. It looked like Ricky had already started getting loose up off of 2. Watch, see if there's any contact here. Rusty gets loose. Boy, that's close.
If any, barely.
But Rusty was already very loose at that point.
Rusty beginning to feel some pressure from Dale Jarrett, who's closing in on him to try and get 4th spot away. DJ sneaking up into 5th. Can Rudd Oh, Harvick's loose off 2.
That's what I'm saying. These guys are getting real loose off of 2. And what makes it worse...
Oh, Rudd took a run at him, and he missed. I think he took a run into the corner, deep on him, and he missed.
When you get loose off the corner like that, and you got another car right underneath your bumper, he's taking the air off your spoiler, and that even makes it worse.
There's Jarrett. Bobby Labonte closing in on Rusty Wallace. 11 laps to go.
Now this is a little bit of drama.
Kevin Harvick started in 22nd place tonight. First laps he led all night have been the last 7. Rusty Wallace in 4th.
But Ricky Rudd has not given up.
Not much lap traffic going to come into play over the final 9 laps. There is one slower car ahead of the leaders, Casey Atwood. Other than that, clean racetrack. 4th place. Dale Jarrett trying to turn around what has been a dismal 5 or 6 weeks for him.
Be a big points day here for the Yates team.
I think that Dale Jarrett, with the way his night has gone, will be thrilled to death with a 4th place finish.
Remember Jeff Gordon involved in a crash back at lap 35. He's 117 laps down in 36th place. Sterling Marlin, 3rd in points, also had problems, mechanical variety for him. He's 49 laps down in 33rd, but 2nd and 4th in the championship. A running 2nd and 4th in the race right now. And if they finish like this, what was a 342-point advantage for Jeff Gordon drops to 227, headed to New Hampshire next Sunday. Six to go.
Ricky Rudd was quicker that lap than Kevin Harvick.
We've seen Harvick slip. We've seen Rudd slip. We've seen Wallace slip. He got the bumper. Here comes Rudd.
Oh, man.
The bump and run. Rudd goes back to the lead with 5 to go. He better get away from him, too.
BP, I told you these guys were better at it than most.
He'd better get away from him. This is going to be a popular win if Rudd holds on. He's a native of Chesapeake, Virginia. Not an hour's drive up the road from here. Junior on Harvick for 2nd.
Float on the bottom, float on the bottom. Clear.
Here he comes again.
Still outside, 3 to go. 3, still outside.
Dale Jr., the farthest up of the drivers eligible for the $1 million bonus.
And Ricky Rudd is loving this. He's looking at that rearview mirror. He's going, race, boys, race. As he pulls away as they're doing it.
2 laps to go for Rudd. Earnhardt Jr. gave it a try. Looks like he may have to settle for 3rd.
Unbelievable. The turn of events in the last 25, 30 laps.
White flag is out. Final lap for Ricky Rudd. He inherited the lead when Rusty Wallace slipped off a 2. Then Rudd's car got away. Kevin Harvick took the lead. He got back to Harvick. Used the old bump and run on him with 5 laps to go. And it's going to be a big night in the championship for Ricky Rudd. Checkered flag is up. Rudd wins the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 at Richmond. Is that a clenched fist being shown there?
I think they're okay with that.
Ricky Rudd pulling out a big night here in Richmond. He got the lead. He lost the lead. He got it back.
On board with Kevin Harvick. There's the bump. Up the hill he goes. Underneath goes Ricky Rudd for the win.
You could hear the bump too, couldn't you, in that? The audio? Oh, he's going to tear the grass up.
Well, the grass is all. They've used all the grass they needed.
Second Richmond win for Ricky Rudd in front of his home state fans. We'll hear from him when we come back in a minute.
To victory lane to greet her husband, and Ricky getting ready to climb out and really savor this victory. And here he is in his home state of Virginia, Ricky Rudd, in victory lane at Richmond. And I'll see if I can weave my way in here. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Good job.
Hey, Ricky. We got a lot to talk about. Congratulations, a big win for you here in Virginia. Early birthday present for you.
Yeah, it really is. I tell you, it was, Texaco, Haviland, Ford, Fatback McSwain, all these guys, Raymond, Fox, guys, Hoyt over, all these guys that work hard on this thing every week. We had a heck of a race car today, and looked like we weren't going to win it. Had somebody kind of rough us up a little bit, and looked like we weren't going to get back to the front in time. As it turns out, I was lucky I saved it. It was just a pure miracle, and gave us a chance to come back and win the race.
Well, let's review some things. Your pass of Rusty Wallace.
You know what? Rusty broke loose. It looked like I hit him. Rusty was real bad on that restart. I'm not really sure. He was holding the pack up, and we were running inches off each other, but honestly can say, and I think Rusty will tell you, I didn't touch him. He was just trying to put the hammer down really hard. He knew he couldn't lift. He broke loose and didn't get it back,
How about you in the 29, Ricky?
Well, that was, I was just a friendly little short track bump and run there. He sort of gave me a cheap shot, I thought, early on. He kept jacking me up in the straightaway, and I don't like that a whole lot. If you're gonna hit somebody, move on, go on, but don't just sit there and ride their bumper. But it all worked out. He wasn't. I was a little mad at the time, but we came back and won, so I kind of cooled off a little bit, and I didn't know what to expect on the cool down lap, and actually come up and congratulated me, so it was pretty neat.
How did you save that car?
Well, I'm just so daggone good.
I love a guy that's honest.
No, I'm going to be real honest. I haven't got a clue. It was one of them deals. I was looking where I was going to hit the fence backwards, and it gathered it up. I guess the good Lord must have steered it straight because I didn't have much to do with it.
Ricky, at what point were you aware the 24 was out of contention?
Well, I knew pretty early on. I was running about 4th or 5th when he wrecked, and I knew it was a pretty hard hit. I couldn't see him hit, but I saw the momentum as he was going up the racetrack. I knew it was going to be a hard hit, but again, don't wish those guys any bad luck. They've had a heck of a year. We've had a heck of a year. We just had more mechanical failures than they have, and Jeff's been running awfully good every week. He's dominated almost every race, and tonight it was our turn to win and gained a few points, and we'll see how it shakes out.
Back home in Virginia, congratulations.
Couldn't have come at a better racetrack. Thank you.
Ricky Rudd wins in Richmond with the same car he took to victory lane at Pocono. Let's check in with Marty.
We're with Rusty Wallace, and Ricky Rudd said that he felt like looked like your car got loose. Is that what happened?
Yeah, he didn't hit me. I just got loose. I really did. I put an extra pound of air in the right rear tire that last pit stop just because it was a little pushy before that, and I figured, well, for the last 20 or 30 lap run, we need a little air in the right rear tire to get the thing going. All it did is just made it really loose. And so he got behind me coming off of turn 2 and just took all the air off the rear spoiler, I just went up in smoke. And I tell you what, I thought I was going to spin it clear down the back straightaway, but I didn't, and I was able to save it. And it's just so dejecting to lead that many laps, the first race here and the second race here, and finish 5th. We had a car that should have won this race by 15 car lengths, but it didn't happen. Next time I'll just quit messing with that right rear tire. It was good, but it took like 15 laps to get the car going, and I just didn't feel like we could sacrifice that at the end. And I would have never thought that it would have made it real loose, and it did.
Boy, I almost hate to say this, but in the last 4 races here, he's led 867 laps and won none of those races. To Matt Yoakum.
And Kevin Harvick scores his best career win.
Wallace to Rudd to Harvick, back to Rudd again. Ricky's in victory lane.